Hi, I'm Scott, and this is another episode of What's on My Bench. Today what we're going to be going over is seating and crimping the projectile, the bullet, in our rifle cases. So that is either a two-step process or a one-step process. There are dies that will both seat and crimp at the same time. I prefer to do them separately, and the reason I prefer to do them separately is I prefer a factory crimp, which is simply pressing in on all sides of the neck equally to crimp the neck of the case around the bullet. The single stage or the single step seat and crimp dies tend to be either a taper crimp, which is essentially just creating a taper on the die so it squeezes the neck in a little bit as the die comes over the neck of the brass casing. That can shift the depth of the seating of the bullet a little bit, so I don't like doing that. There are also roll crimps, which are essentially forcing the case to sort of roll in a little bit, and that can actually greatly affect the integrity of the neck as well. So I don't prefer to do either one of those. I like a factory crimp. So for that reason, we're going to seat the bullet and crimp the bullet separately. Both will be done on the RCBS single stage press, Summit press that I have here, using separate dies. I actually have for the 300 blackout, I have a Lee seating die, and I have, like I said, the Lee factory crimp die. I've actually used Forster seating dies as well. I also have a Frankfurt Arsenal universal bullet seating die, but I found that 300 blackout rounds, because the projectile is so long, the 30 caliber projectile is so long, that it doesn't work very well in these universal seating dies. So I use a separate seating die and crimping die for 300 blackout specifically. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the bullet seating die that's already been adjusted and is already locked and set. Again, for my press, my single stage press, I have the lock and load bushing system in here, so I can just pop this in, turn it 1/8 of a turn, and I'm ready to go. It's already set for the proper seat. So the bullet or the projectile that we're seating today is a Sierra. I think this is the Match King. It is a hollow point bolt tail round that is 220 grains. Again, this is for my subsonic load. 220 grains for subsonic gives it a nice energy down range. If I was loading supersonic, obviously I'd use a different size round. So to seat the bullet with this particular seating die, all we do is we put the case that is loaded with a powder charge, ready to go and primed. We put that case into the press, manually set the bullet in place, set it on the neck as straight as you can. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight because the die will straighten the bullet or the projectile as it's seating. Slowly push all the way down, and then you'll have the bullet seated at the proper depth. And normally I have my headphones on, I'm listening to music, and this becomes a pretty simple operation. And then we change out our die from seating to crimping and run them back through with a crimp, and you'll feel a cam over at the very end. And that crimp is just a slight crimp completely around the neck of the bullet. So once I'm finished loading, I actually do perform one more step that I didn't mention up front, and that is that I do a full length measurement of the SAMI spec for the round using these case gauges that are made by a company called Armanov. These are aluminum. They're really, really nice case gauges, and I can do 10 at a time. So all you do is you drop them in, just like this. And if they are sized perfectly, you will see that there is no raised case along this edge. They are all flush. You could also check bullet seating simply by putting it down on the table and then making sure that they all raise to the same height. And these are all perfect. And then after I've gauged them all, I'll put them in an ammo box or into a magazine. So that's how I do bullet seating and crimping for rifle rounds. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment down below, especially if you want to see something specific for our next episode. See you then.